สวัสดีค่ะ Welcome to Hot Thai Kitchen. So soup season is about to start here in Vancouver, so I thought I would share with you a recipe for oxtail soup. So oxtail soup is not something you can find commonly in Thailand. It's available, it's a little hard to find, which is why it's a great thing to learn how to make at home. So soup, oxtail soup in Thai is called soup hang wua. So soup is soup. Hang wua means oxtail, so it's very straightforward. There are two main styles of oxtail soup in Thailand, the Thai Muslim style and the more Thai style. So that the Thai one is what I'm going to show you today. It's a little simpler, but they're both super delicious. Let's get started. So I've got some beautiful oxtail here. So I personally like to pick ones that are really big. Like these are really big because there's just more meat there, something for you to chew. And I'm just gonna drop my oxtail, and this is just plain water. The thing about oxtail, the reason why it's the perfect soup material is there's so much bone and connective tissue in there. These will make the richest, most luxurious beef broth ever. And hopefully it'll all fit in my pot. What do you know? It's like I planned for it. So while that's going, let's talk some aromatics for a second. So I've got some lemongrass here. Now, for this particular part, I'm going to use just the top half, which tends to be weaker in flavor. We'll save the bottom half a little bit later. I'm going to smash it, and then we'll let these simmer with the beef. Yes, I know this knife is incredibly dull because it's Adam's knife. I forgot to bring my knife. Don't judge me. So these go into the beef. So this beef is going to cook for 2.5 hours at first, just to get it tender. And the reason why Thai people like to add some herbs at this stage is because these herbs sort of help mitigate the gaminess of beef. To be honest, I find that the oxtail in Canada has none of that smell, that gamey smell at all. But in Thailand, they seem to have a stronger smell, so people like to put lots of herbs in there while it's simmering. So it's completely up to you. So in addition to some lemongrass, I'm also going to throw in kaffir lime leaves as well. And I think one of the reasons why oxtail in Thailand has more of a stronger smell is because they're usually sold with the skin on, whereas here the oxtails don't come with the skin. So maybe that's what the difference is. I'm not sure. But in any case, while the oxtail is simmering, you want to give it some seasoning, some saltiness so that it can absorb that flavor while it's cooking. So I'm going to add some fish sauce. And that's it. Let it simmer gently for 2.5 hours. That will depend slightly on the size of your oxtail, but oxtail really needs a lot of time. So if you want to stick this in a slow cooker or pressure cooker, this would be a good recipe to do that for. Look at that. You just know that is an incredibly rich broth. And I've had to, by the way, top this up with more water as it went. Now I'm going to fish out all these herbs now, which have been completely spent. And this is, by the way, just the scum and the fat that I've been skimming throughout this period. This is also one of those dishes I often make over 2 days. So the first day I'll do this, the 2.5 hours part, I'll put in the fridge. I don't even need to skim the fat then, I'll just scrape the fat off the top once it comes out of the fridge, and then you continue the rest later. So it's up to you if you plan ahead. Okay, so now we're gonna oomph up this broth with more things. So the onion, I'm adding at this point, and I'm going to let it go until it basically is soft and sweet. It's going to be what keeps this broth sweet. I'm not adding any sugar whatsoever. Some tomatoes. So I've got some chopped tomatoes here. Again, with the tomatoes, the plan is that they will completely disintegrate into the broth and will add flavor, add umami, add a little acidity. I'm going to let it cook for another 30 minutes. And then we're so close to being done. So the onions and the tomatoes have softened completely. The tomatoes have like disintegrated, exactly what you want. Now, all the herbs are gonna go in. This is where the soup gets really delicious. So that lemongrass bottoms that we saved, which is the stronger part of the lemongrass. Some ginger slices. Yes, so typically, like, you will see me use galangal in a soup, but ginger and beef just go so well together, and it seems to be like the classic mix for oxtail soup in Thailand. And I really love this combination too. Some ginger and of course, lots and lots of lime leaves, extra lime leaves. I'm gonna give that a tear and a bruise so all the fragrant juices come out. If you want to make this spicy, I'm going to throw in some Thai chilies. I just cut them in half on a bias, but I'm keeping them in big pieces so no one accidentally eats one. So we're going to give this another 15 to 20 minutes for the herbs to do their thing. And then it's pretty much done. Like, it's super easy. So if you've been doing math, you're going to know that the total amount of time that you want the beef to cook is 3 hours. 3 hours and a little bit. So the minimum amount of time for the oxtail of that size to become super tender is 3 hours. And then we're basically just working backwards, adding ingredients. All right, we'll be right back. Now it's starting to smell really good. So I'm gonna turn this off and I'm gonna give it a taste and adjust seasoning. Oh, that's so good. Oh, that broth is so rich, but it does need more fish sauce or salt. At this point, you can add whatever you want. Still need to add some lime juice to this. You could have it like this, but a lot of times with oxtail soup in Thailand, the lime is served separately, so you can choose to have it just kind of like this or really tart and zingy with a little extra lime, which is how I like to do it. So we're gonna serve that on the side. So if you're feeling like it needs a little zing, don't worry, the zing is coming. Before we serve, I'm going to add some extra tomatoes just so that there's, you know, some meat. Not meat, there's plenty of meat. There's some substantial chunks of tomatoes that people can eat. And then I usually like to let this simmer for another 2 to 3 minutes if you're going to serve this right away. Not 2 to 3, just 1 minute just to soften the tomato. But if you're not going to serve it right away, usually if you just let the tomato sit in here, the residual heat is enough. By the time you're going to serve it, you're going to reheat it. The tomatoes will be nice and soft. A little extra cilantro shower. And that is it. Let's serve it up. Look at that's a monstrous piece. And the meat's starting to fall off, which is exactly what I want because that means it's super tender. Some broth. Now, for me, I always like to do a nice squeeze of lime to make this like a tangy soup. As much as you want. And by the way, for our Patreon members, for the show after the show, I'm going to talk you through how you would modify this into the more Muslim version, the Muslim style of oxtail soup. And if you want to join our Patreon club, check out the link in the description below. You want to get, oh my God, look at that meat. Got to take a bite with some broth and some beef. It smells so good. Just have to take more than one sip. That broth, it's bright with the lime and all the citrusy herbs that we added, but it's also rich and unctuous. This is how you know this broth is rich. You put that in the fridge and it's going to come out solid, like more solid than any jello you make because there's so much connective tissue. That broth is filled with collagen, with gelatin, which is really good for you as well. So you want to really drink up that broth. Lots of good protein. It's just so delicious. You can put rice in it and have it like a rice soup, or I usually just eat it on its own. It's just so good. So the recipe, as always, will be on hutthaikitchen.com. And when you make it, I definitely want to see a photo. Send it to me, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. I'm also on Pinterest now, for those of you who are pinners. And if you haven't subscribed to the show, make sure you do so you don't miss an episode. And click the bell icon as well so you get a notification when I post a new video. Thanks as always for watching, and I will see you next time for your next delicious Thai meal.